just one thing standing in their way. A whole town full of vampires.
What's up, guys? It is S0LEB back again for another video review. I know I've said before in the past that I was going to be more consistent, but you know, I'm a full-time worker, I'm a full-time dad, I'm a full-time husband, and I just don't have the time that I used to have on a constant basis. But I promise you guys that I will always try my hardest to bring you content either on Twitter, on TikTok, on YouTube, or written content over at cineleaks.com. And as you have seen today, we're here to talk about RedFall. Is RedFall the failure that everyone has said it is over these last 2 weeks since it has launched? Now, I'm going to have a little bit of a different review than probably what you guys have heard out there. I'm not going to talk about every singular detail of RedFall. I'm not going to talk about all this crazy deep dive detail. I have put in a total of 24 hours to 25 hours of playtime in RedFall on PC Game Pass, and I will tell you my honest opinion of the game. Now, one thing I will say is that one game that I had somewhat of a hard time reviewing originally, that was somewhat of a downfall, was, of course, Fallout 76. So it was really hard for me to review that game. I'm such a Bethesda fanboy, and I was trying as hard as possible to look for the best and brightest things about the game, but we're not going to do that here. I'm trying to get back to the real basis of what Second Opinion was about, and it's being opinionated. It's showing the good and the bad, but of course, doing reviews that are by opinionated podcasters. And today, like I said, I've got some opinions about this game. So if you don't really know a lot about RedFall, to really summarize it, it's a town that had some scientists, and in this town, these scientists did a experiment at this company called Avum, and one thing led to another, and they ended up transforming themselves into vampires, and then they just took over the town. So of course, in this game, it is very different, and I gotta give it to Arkane Austin and, of course, Bethesda Softworks for coming up with this concept for this game. Now, the big thing about this, though, is that we have seen four-player co-op games in the past that have been overly pushed and overly hyped that have failed. I don't mean this in any hate toward these studios, but I'm going to tell you the one that really just flopped for me was Back 4 Blood. I was really excited for Back 4 Blood, and I was thinking that it was going to be the next coming of Left 4 Dead. And, of course, I don't feel that that game really kind of reached up to the height that Left 4 Dead was. And I think one of the main reasons that Left 4 Dead was a very original concept, and also it was very kind of basic. It was these four people that had, hilarious kind of back and forths, and they were going out, taking on these crazy zombies, and, it was just fun. It was couch co-op fun. It was land fun. It was just the true basis of what fun is. I think the biggest thing about these four-player co-op games, and the reason why we have seen so many of them fail in the recent history, or these just online co-op games, is because that is the main thing. It is so heavily based online, and there's so much that is just pushed into these games of trying to make them different, or there's such a basis of focusing on some of the main things about the game instead of the overall aspects of the game. And I feel that's where RedFall starts to fall short. There's a big, heavy focus on the co-op aspect of the game and the characters instead of the overall gameplay and gameplay mechanics. So, of course, to begin, after my spiel, we know that there's four characters. There's Remy, Layla, Jacob, and Devender. And each one of these characters all have their own different style of play. Devender was like a paranormal investigator, and he creates all this stuff. Remy was a combat engineer. Layla was a biomedical engineer. And then Jacob was just a military man that was really good with the sniper rifle. So I chose Jacob, and I really liked his style of play. I liked the Raven. I liked how you could send it out and kind of scope out the area, see where your enemies were. I liked how he could go into this type of, ghost style of gameplay and focus and get really cool headshots and so on and so forth. But what held back my gameplay as I was exploring this world is the AI. To be frank, the AI in this game that you face off against, the main human AI, doesn't even feel like human AI. It literally feels like cardboard cutouts of an AI system that was built for this game. Multiple times I would walk up on a group of the cultist or the security or the bellwether security, and they would just stand there looking at me dumbfounded that, oh my God, another human walked up on us. I didn't understand it. I don't understand the programming aspect. I don't know if they were just rushed. I really don't know what happened with this AI system, but it just was not there for me. When I go from a game that Arkane makes that had fantastic AI and curious and was really strong and kind of fast, like in Dishonored, to a game like this, it's really upsetting and it's really aggravating to see that it has fallen so short when they had the ability to make these AI just as smart and just as fast-paced as the characters that you were playing as, or just as smart or just as fast-paced as the vampires. Now, there was a lot of times that I ran into really powerful vampires, and some of those battles were pretty cool. Sometimes they were almost too overpowered. I would run up, and there would be vampires that I would be, 5 feet from, and they wouldn't even realize I was there. And then they would turn around, and they would just instantly kill me because I didn't have my character upgraded enough, or I didn't go to the right side of town. And it was irritating. But I have to say, it was also really cool to face off against some of these vampires. I mean, facing off against all these vampires inside of a vampire nest. You kill them or you shoot them, and then you stake them in the heart. You run to the other side of the vampire nest, and you get to take down this giant-ass blood heart. And then once you clear that out, you get really awesome XP. You find some good weapons and caches and stuff while you're there, and then it clears that whole area of vampires. There's even times whenever you walk up, and there's this vampire mist. And once you use your UAV weapon to take that giant frozen blood sack of a vampire out, it clears the whole mist. The concept of the game is great. Going into safe houses and it's dark and you got your flashlight on, you see a vampire over in the corner just floating and waiting there, and if you make the wrong move or make too much noise, he's going to turn around and attack you. Or like I said earlier, facing off against the underbosses, facing off against the vampire gods at the end of these chapters and stuff. It's awesome. It's a really great concept. But the overall aspect of this game is a shell. And that's the reason why I feel it is a shell. And the only way I can conceptualize in my mind that the reason why this game is not completed is because it was rushed. Instead of them taking the big L and saying, hey, we need to stop, take a step back, let's push this game off for another year and really make this game a great experience. Because I'm going to tell you, this may be an unpopular opinion to some people, but RedFall, at its core, is a good game. When you think about the concept, when you think about the overall style of the game, when you think about what you could do with your friends and face off against this stuff, and then you start thinking about the future of the game, of how they can add in DLC. Dude, they can add in all kinds of shit, bro. They can add in Corvo. They can add in, like, a connection to fucking Dishonored. It would be great. It would be fantastic. But at this point in time, in the shape that the game is in, the biggest thing that holds this game back is the non-destructible environments. The fact that you can't walk up to, I know this is something that some people don't think about, but the fact that you can't walk up to a window on a car and punch the window out is nuts to me. The melee mechanic is nuts to me. The fact that these AI, these human AI that follow these vampires, these sick-ass vampires in the game, literally stand there and look at you like a cardboard cutout half the time, or they slowly reload their weapons. Why do they not have the same exact type of abilities? Why are we facing off against, to me, it seems like just normal, everyday Joe with a ski mask on. Bellwether security is supposed to be this intense type of security. Outside of the fact that they have powerful firearms, I didn't see much that really kind of got my heart pumping when I ran into a group of them. I was like, okay, well, fuck it. I'm just going to throw throw a bomb over there or blow up a fireable gas can that's next to them, blow this whole area up, snipe half of them out, and then I'm just going to move on to the vampire, which is my main focus. There needs to be more of this big, heavy kind of horror push. And that's what we got from the initial gameplay trailers and reveal trailers of this game, is that every nook and cranny of RedFall is completely infested with vampires. It's infested with the Hollow Man cultists. It's infested with, the Bellwether security that want to kind of take over the town, but at the same time, they're facing off against the vampires as well. And then having this cool concept that Arkane had, to where you don't just get to shoot the vampires. There's some weapons that you can take a vampire down with one hit, but you have to shoot them and then run up to them and stake them in the heart, and it's this real cool animation and stuff while you're doing it. They bust into dust. It's awesome. Having weapons like the UAV beam and the stake launcher and stuff like that, it instantly kills some of these vampires. Or with the UAV beam, it turns them into stone, and then you punch them and they just burst in front of your face. It's so cool, bro. It's so cool. And there's so many aspects of this game, like the weapons, the fact, your special abilities. There's so much that Arkane Austin and Bethesda can build from this game to make it into a great game. But what I am tired of is some of these games launching and me having to make that statement right there. This game could be a great game over time. This is not something that is just happening here and there in the games industry. This is something that is becoming somewhat of a trend. When we look at studios like EA that launched Battlefield 2044, I loved Portal. I loved it. I loved the new aspect of the game. I thought it was fantastic. But overall, it could have been better. Star Wars Battlefront, whenever it first launched out, it was a shell of a game. Fallout 76, when it first came out, had tons of problems. ESO, when it came out, had tons of problems. So we have to think about this and see where the real problem is. Is it us as fans? Are we pushing game developers too much? Is it the fact that this game was originally planned for Xbox Game Pass, and they just eventually wanted to come out with DLC and well, it's an online based game, so we can just, over time update it. I don't really know. I don't know what they were thinking with this game. I know that this game can be great. I know that we could play RedFall one day and be like, wow, this is fucking cool. Because there was a lot of moments in this game. In District 1, while playing through District 1, District 2, in the 20-something hours that I pushed myself through this game, that I really enjoyed it, especially with performance. I mean, honestly, I played it on PC, and there was some times that I had some shuddery kind of graphics, but after some of the recent updates and stuff, it looks great on PC. Gameplay-wise, graphics, frame rate, all that stuff, it looked really good on my PC. But the biggest thing is, even though that game looks good, we have to really focus on the bad things. We have to focus on the fact that the AI is a shell. It's literally not even close to the AI that we have seen in some of these previous Bethesda games. We have to focus on the fact that the game is honestly not as fun playing it solo compared to it is as co-op, because there's no system in play to where you can play with either AI versions of these heroes. And there's not even a matchmaking aspect. You can't just get on and join random people because there's not the ability of doing that. There's no matchmaking aspect of this game. which is, it boggles my mind. It's an online-based game. Why do we not have a matchmaking aspect day one for an online-based co-op shooter? I don't understand it. I really don't. But I will tell you this, something that I do understand is that I, as a gamer, can focus on more than just the bad. I can focus on the fact that, yes, the AI is bad. Yes, there is a lot of work to do on this game. But I can also focus on the fact that the concept of this game is cool. The fact that Microsoft and Bethesda are not going to give up on this title, hopefully. And I can also focus on the fact that eventually, just as we have seen in the past, this game could be something worthwhile. At this point in time, if you haven't played RedFall, it's definitely something that I would have to say you need to wait on. After putting in 20 plus hours into the game and really kind of pushing myself through and finding good things about my experience, but heavily focusing on the bad, I do have to say that RedFall fell pretty far from the tree. I'm giving RedFall a 2.5 out of 5. I do hope that Bethesda and Arkane Studios learn from this launch and make RedFall a better game. But until then, make sure to do me a favor. Comment, like, and subscribe. I love you guys. I know this was a little bit of a different opinionated video, and it's not the normal type of review to where I focus on all the weapons that I unlocked, and I focused on, oh, well, hey, I can go invisible with my character, and I could do this and this, and hey, I played these online matches. I played one online match with a friend of mine, and it was more fun than the original perspective of me just playing by myself. But I have to say, this game has left me dumbfounded. I don't know what to say outside of saying that it's just not, it was not ready for launch. It is a 2.5 experience out of 5, and I really hope eventually that things can come to fruition with this game, and I hope that we can one day all kind of laugh about this and say, man, the launch was bad, but shit, it has turned into quite an experience. I love you guys. Please make sure to comment, like, subscribe. Check us out at S0LEB.com, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace out.